Hi, good morning, students. Hope all of you are keeping fine. Now, so far we have been studying about grammar portions, we have been studying tenses, we have revised subject verb agreements, we have then gone to active voice, passive voice, then we spoke about what is called sequence of tenses. So sequence of tenses was the last lesson what we have learned, what we have studied. I hope you have understood all those things. Then today we have to move on to a new topic. Today we will be just seeing about what is called writing skill. Writing skills, as you know, it is something very important in the life of a student, or let it be in any person who is interested in using English language. We know that so long as when we don't have a powerful writing skill, we won't be able to communicate properly all what we need to convey to others. Maybe some of you may have what is called oral skill. Apart from that one, we need to have what is called the writing skill as well. So we need to have a skill in writing, be it in any field. Now coming to the writing skills, now here I have mentioned few of them. Let's say notice, email, then we have got formal letters and informal letters. Now these are the basic things what we have to study, or rather we have studied in class 9 you have come across. Email you have studied, notice you have written, formal letters and informal letters. All these things you have studied in class 9. Now we need to just recall, and we may have to revise once again what we have to do or what we have studied already. Now speaking about notice. Now what is the purpose of notice? Now when we are giving a notice, when we are writing a notice, we just in a very precise manner we have to communicate. All what we have to communicate, we have to communicate that essence in a gist. We don't be writing full sentences anywhere, but at the same time we have to convey all what we have to say. Now this, here it is written, notice and email I have written together here. Now it is recommended that most of the time we teach notice and email together. One after another it is taught. And reason also you know that. Now this comes with the same topic as far as concerned about what is called our examination and notice and email. It comes as part of same question. Now then what is the difference between a notice and an email? Only difference is that we can call generally what is called the audience to whom it is addressed. That is the difference what we are noticing. Notice may be written to what is called our companions, students in the school forum. It is given there. Maybe among the students we have to communicate. Then we write a notice. But whereas the same content that has to be conveyed to maybe the management of another school, maybe another institution, be it anybody, somewhere we have to, apart from this audience, we have to convey. Then we use that email. Somebody, those who are far away, let us put it, when we are speaking in terms of school, notice is applicable for the students. Here we can put up a notice on the notice board, and that is easily seen by the students or whoever concerned. Today we will be speaking about maybe let's say a residents association where a notice is written. It is placed in a supermarket. So it is not individually addressed. Anybody, those who come there, they can see that. So that is a public board which is kept there, so that all those who are concerned can see the notice and get to know about it. Whereas this is personalized. Email comes personalized and it goes to the person concerned. So that is email and notice. Now when we are writing notice, as I already mentioned, we won't be speaking entirely about what is called the structured sentences. So it is just the topic it is given. Let's say we'll give a heading for the notice, whatever be an appropriate heading. The purpose of heading, what is the purpose of heading? Now that is to catch the attention of the targeted people to whom we are aiming at. Their attention at just stress, we have to get the attention. We must be able to focus their attention onto the heading. Now here notice I have given here, and I have also just the front page itself I have just given heading here, and let's say a heading I have given just simply, not connected with the topic or any of those things what I am giving, not for all to read. Now I have given a heading like this, not for all to read. Imagine is a notice that is going to be displayed somewhere in a public place, and the title I have given, this is not meant for all of you to read, only particular. When it is mentioned not for all, is understood it is aimed at somebody. Now what does it mean? Now this is a title which I had seen in a newspaper. Article is written and the heading is given, not for all to read. Now what does it mean? Immediately, as human nature is there, when we see something not meant for all, you are not allowed, then eagerness to read what is not for us. So now this makes everybody to read it. So this heading brings to the mind, hey, what is that curiosity bring? What is that one? That is not for everybody, but it is given in the newspaper. So, or in the notice heading is given, not for all to read. So this brings, or this catches the attention of all the readers, creates a curiosity to read what is the content. So that has to be basically seen when we are giving a heading for the notice, not for all to read. Now don't give for everybody every notice that not for all to read. In this example I have given, it is a possibility that we can do like this. Creative title is given there so that it focuses the attention of all the readers. Now email, of course we don't give such kind of title there. It is personally it is given, so naturally the format will be different. Let's see what is notice. Now here I have given a question. Now based on a question we will be seeing the notice. You are the president of the children's club in your locality. You and your team are planning to organize a program to celebrate Teachers' Day. Write a notice. Now you are planning to celebrate Teachers' Day and you are asked to prepare a notice board. You are asked to write a notice and it has to be put up in the local supermarket. Now it is going to be a public notice. Everybody has to see. Now let us see how this notice is prepared. Now here you have seen here what is the procedure I have given. Thank you teachers, a cultural program to celebrate Teachers' Day, that is together, green color, it comes together. On 5th September 2020, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at Conference Hall, South City Mall. All teachers who are the residents of the South City complex are cordially invited. Now this is actually what is needed for a notice. Only so much we have written here. Not much, no. We have not written the so-called complete sentences, just what is needed. Now if you notice, I have given a creative title, we call it. We need a catchy title, that is thank you teachers. All the work what you are doing, all the dedicated service you are doing. So thank you for all that one. Now what is the purpose of the notice what you are writing as per the question? So it is to appreciate the works of the teachers. So now we are going to celebrate the Teachers' Day. So naturally it is appropriate, you can put it thank you teachers. Now you have given a creative heading there. Then immediately followed by that one we see another one more thing. A cultural program to celebrate Teachers' Day. This is another heading. If you notice, you will see that there are two headings given there. So one is the so-called creative heading, some catchy title, something to attract the attention or to focus the attention of the readers. So we have given. Now if you notice, I have written one here. What is this one? It carries 1 mark. So what is that? This creative heading carries 1 mark. So it is very important, you have to know out of total 5 marks, 1 mark is for the creative title what you are giving, the heading what you are going to give. That is a new heading, attractive title that has to be given by you. Second one also it is another title. But the difference is that this is actually taken from the question itself. You will get this second title from the question itself. That is a cultural program to celebrate Teachers' Day. Already in the question it is there, you are going to arrange a cultural program to celebrate Teachers' Day. So that is the second one. So from here it is very clear what is the purpose of this notice. Now from the first one, thank you teachers. Now what is it? It creates a curiosity in the minds of the readers, whereas they may not be able to understand what exactly the purpose of this notice. So for that they have to read the second one. Now from here it is very clear. It clearly gives the idea or the purpose of this notice here. A cultural program to celebrate Teachers' Day. So understood, it is a Teachers' Day program. So that is the second title that is generally taken from the question itself. Here third, on 5th September 2020, that is the date what we have given. So for that also we get half mark. Here also there is 1 mark. So already 2 marks for the headings we have given. The dates we have got 0.5 marks. Date has to be exactly written, so please note this one. You can also use punctuations. So from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. So what is the time given? Time duration is given. So naturally it is from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, or even you may give at 8 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, depending upon how you are arranging the program, whatever. But time is important. Always it is better that you give from the starting time and also the ending time, so that people can arrange accordingly what is their plan or what they are supposed to do. Okay. Then where is it going to take place? At Conference Hall, South City Mall. Now where is it going to take place? It is going to take place in City Mall. Now there, in that place, there is a conference hall. It's almost like Berlin. In the auditorium at Little Flower School. Now the smaller place comes first, the bigger one. The conference hall is the smaller area which is coming there, and this is City Mall. that is going to be the bigger areas, same as the what is called our auditorium. Little Flower School, if we use it same way we are using it. So naturally you have to make sure that from the smaller one to the bigger one has to be mentioned. So where it is going to be taking place, naturally we know it will be taking place in a room or somewhere, but that room comes first, then you have to mention where is this room located. So that is very important, and that this part you will get half mark and this part also you will get half mark. Whereas if you write it the other way, South City Mall at Conference Hall, you will have no mark. So both marks will be cut from there. So make sure that you have to keep in mind that smaller one comes first, then the bigger one. I hope it is clear. Then the final statement is made there. What is the final statement? All teachers who are the residents of the South City complex are cordially invited. Now this is not meant for all the teachers everywhere there or in their school. No. This is Residents Association they are organizing. So only all teachers who are the residents of the South City complex. Only they are invited. So from there it is very clear who are the people expected for this gathering. That is all the teachers who are the residents of the South City complex. Only they are invited, not all the teachers of a particular institution. No. Now, this targeted people, all the people who are expected, the targeted audience, so they are the ones. So this is also conveyed there. So that also carry 1 mark. So this one mark, then here 1 mark, here 1, and this 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 marks you get like this. So this is the procedure that you have to keep in mind. So when we are speaking about what is called a notice, a creative heading, that is should be organized, written by you from your imagination, that has to come. Then we have got a title generally taken from the question itself. Then the date we have to mention. Then you have to mention exact time when this program is going to take place, or the duration of the program, from which time to what time it has to be, then where it is going to take place, the smaller place and the bigger place where it is going to be, meaning to say that the exact location and where it is. Then who are the people invited for this program? These are essentially the points that are to be kept in mind while you are writing a notice. I hope it is clear to you. Now moving on with the same topic. So this is again that we have to write an email. Now we are moving to the next part of that question, that is writing an email. Now the content, what all things has to be conveyed, you will notice that it is exactly the same thing. That is what we said in the beginning, that these are two things which are always taught together. Now here if you notice, you will see directly we have started off with what is called email ID. So it is always essential that we should have a complete email ID. Now you will notice that these things, what is written here, there is no space between. That is something which is always you need to keep in mind. Email ID has to be written like this. And there is also a tendency we see among students, they start with www. No. That is website what we are going to. No, that is not the thing that has to be kept in mind. So please make sure that email ID, correct email ID has to be written. And preferably you write like this, small one, small letters. But see that there is no gap between these two. So between the words there should be no gap, and it has to be a proper email ID. Moving on to subject here. Now here in email generally we don't write from address and all those things. When we are writing, it is understood when an email is sent, naturally the from address is also sent, but when we are writing, we need not write from address here. So just two addresses there. There are occasions in which you are asked to send a carbon copy to that one. So naturally you can have another one more email ID mentioned there, CC. So generally you will see CC. So if you are asked to write, it is not a compulsory thing. If you are asked to write a CC, naturally you have to write another one more email ID there. So there are occasions in which you will have to make two email IDs. So one, the original one, then the carbon copy one, so to whom you are going to send it. So naturally these two can be there, or one depending upon the question what is asked to you. So please pay attention to that one. Then we have got the subject. This is important. When we are writing an email is a formal writing. Therefore, all the formalities that has to be kept in mind while we are writing, just like a formal letter, we need to pay attention to that one. You cannot use any colloquial terms there. You cannot use SMS languages there. Half sentences, we cannot use it. So it has to be a perfect writing. So we are writing this kind of things to officials and all those things. So this has to be a formal invitation. So if you are inviting somebody, if you are writing, let us put it as a formal writing should be there. Generally we see that in the school examples and all those things, we will be writing email to the neighboring school, management to the neighboring school, or some VIPs for getting judges or something. So therefore, the tone of language what we are using should be very polite and gentle. It has to be decent. The language has to be correct. The spellings has to be exactly correct. Punctuations has to be mentioned. All these things has to be taken care perfectly well when we are writing an email. It is a typical formal writing what we are doing it. Therefore, all that care has to be taken when we are writing email. So no shortcut, no slangs, no SMS language, no half sentence. All those things has to be sufficient. The respect has to be paid to the person to whom we are writing the email. So all the traditional rules of writing has to be kept in mind when we are writing an email. So now we'll just say what I have written here. So one email ID I have mentioned here. Then subject sponsorship. If you have noticed in the question, we had asked, the question was given, asked for a sponsorship. So email ID you have got a half mark, subject you have got another. Then we have got salutation. So proper salutation has to be given. Then Teachers' Day is around the corner, and we, the residents of the South City Complex, would like to express our gratitude to our teachers by hosting. Thank you, teachers. Now here you have to pay attention. Now this is the title which we have used in the notice as well. Thank you, teachers. So same heading has to be, that creative heading has to be brought out here. Thank you, teachers. A brief cultural program to celebrate Teachers' Day. This is another one what we derived from the question itself. So a cultural program to celebrate Teachers' Day. So both the points, both the headings has to be again brought back to the email. That is very important thing what we need to take in. So thank you, teachers. That is the heading. A brief cultural program to celebrate Teachers' Day. Then it is given here the date. So that is also attention has to be given there, just like in the notice what we had given, focus attention to the date. So 5th September 2020 between 10 a.m. and 12 noon. So the program will be going on between this 10 a.m. and 12 noon. So rather than 10 a.m. and 12 noon, we can put it to 10 to 12 noon. That will be better. So it is taking place, okay, 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock it will be there. So this program here we have mentioned, heading we have seen, the second heading also we have seen, then the date we have seen and the time. Now point also, mark also is given here, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, then 0.5 for the date here, the time also is given here. So naturally this one together here. Half mark you will get here also. There are about 25. This continuation of the email. So naturally, how many people are going to participate for the program? So 25 teachers in our complex. The program will be held in the conference hall. Now it will be held as it was mentioned in the notice. It will be held in the conference hall. Half mark it is mentioned, or what is mentioned in the bracket, that is the mark allotted for the point of the South City Complex, conference hall, South City Complex. So it is mentioned where and smaller place and bigger place where it is going to be located. So both these points will carry marks. We would be grateful to you if you allow us to display a notice at the entrance of the supermarket. So we have also mentioned we have already seen in the question that there was a reference asking for permission to display a notice board there for the general public that there is a program going to be held. So that permission is also taken here. Display a notice at the entrance of the supermarket to create an awareness of the event. So all those points which are asked in the question, that has to be conveyed. So here time is place is mentioned and time already was mentioned. Now then the permission to display a notice, that is also granted here. Moving on to that one, we also request you to please sponsor a cup of tea and light refreshments. So what sponsorship was the question? So what you expect the person to sponsor? It was a cup of tea and light refreshments. So half mark for that one also it is there. For the teachers and a few guests, about 40 in all. So altogether 40 members will be there. So you have to be precise how many people will be there and all those things. So naturally 25 teachers and let's say 15 guests and all those things together. So we have got 40 people. So that point is clearly mentioned. We need sponsorship is needed. We need permission to display a notice board in the supermarket, entrance of the supermarket. We have to make use of the conference hall and the time will be from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So all these points are mentioned there. What it is? Thank you teachers. That was a creative heading. What is given there? A brief cultural program. So all those points are mentioned there in the email. And finally, leave taking, positive leave taking. We look forward for a favorable response. We expect a positive reply from you. So that is a must there. This point has to be mentioned there. We look forward to a favorable response. Thanking you. Yours faithfully, Ashish Roy. Now this may not be compulsory, but till here it has to be mentioned. So this is exactly what we have got the procedure for email writing. So we have seen. So from here once again we are revising. We have to write first of all a proper email ID has to be there. Then subject, salutation. All those 3 lines carries half mark each. Then introductory part you can write. Mention very clearly. Thank you. This is the creative heading. Again we have to repeat the same thing as we have mentioned in the notice. A creative heading has to be given. The same creative heading has to be given here. And also second one, what is derived from the question, a cultural program to celebrate Teachers' Day. And then comes the dates, time. Then how many people are there? Where you are going to conduct this program? At the conference hall. Please again make sure from the smaller area to the bigger one, city complex. Display a notice. This was another point mentioned in the question. To display a notice at the entrance of the supermarket. So much is mentioned there. We also request you to please sponsor a cup of tea. That was part of the question. Sponsor something. Okay. Then looking for a positive leave taking. So we look forward for a favorable response. Thanking you. Yours faithfully. Full name. Designation. If you like, you can write it here. So this is all about email. So notice and email you have seen. Now here, for your sake, I have taken how an email look like. If you are sending it in the computer or laptop, how you will be looking exactly what is. So precisely you will get the idea of what is a Gmail, how does it look like. I'm sure that all of you are well aware of about this one, but still, just for the clarity's sake, how it looks. So you will see a screen like this when you are opening what is called the composing email. This is exactly the page where we compose the email. You will see all these things. You will see here to whom you are planning to write this email, to whom you are going to send. It is given here one complete email ID. You will notice here. So it is given there. Then, for example, for the sake of understanding, I have mentioned what is called the CC. So that is another email ID what you have to mention there. So then let us say it was followed by subject supposed to be. Now I have just mentioned lesson on email. Now what are we saying? This is here. Of course, this one and that one has no connection at all. So this is the email. Now we are studying email, therefore I just put the random, I have kept the title as what is called lesson on email. Then as usual, dear sir, the salutation has taken place. Dear sir, of course this not part of this, it is an invitation. I write invite you to send your students to participate and all those things. A program is mentioned there. So then after this is, you need to keep in mind as content what has to be mentioned. The content, salutation, then positive leave taking, what is called looking forward for a positive reply. Yours faithfully, the person who is writing, company name you have to write. So this is all about how an email page look like. So please keep in mind. So after saying this one, you will be clearly understanding what is called email ID. You have to mention CC. If it is asked, you have to mention then the subject, salutation, body or the content, then finally taken. So this much has to be paid attention to when you are writing an email. Format of formal letter. Now these are things already you have learned sufficient and more time. What is email? What is formal letter? What is informal letter? All these things you have already learned in smaller classes. Now it is only a just repetition. A structure or an example is given here. How it has to be. So your first address is there, the so-called from address. Then we have got the date. Of course, here you have to pay perfect attention to the format of date has to be given there. The punctuation has to be there. One comma is there. One full stop is here. So this has to be. If you notice, comma, comma. Here also one comma should be having there. Here should be a comma. Then ending with a full stop here. So now this much everywhere there has to be comma 1, 2, 3. So here also a comma should be there. And finally, so it is understood. The last one where we are ending, there we give a full stop, and all the other 3 places we will mark a comma there. Now here date, here also a full stop is kept there. Then the to address, from address, a space, then date, then followed by to address. Same procedure will be followed there, comma, 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 and finally full stop. The last line should have a full stop. That is the procedure what we need to follow. So this from address we have half mark, date if it is completely correct. Even anywhere if you lose one comma, you will lose half mark. For this one, you will lose half mark because one comma is missing here. So one comma has to be there. Then only you will get the complete mark, half mark. Half. This one also half mark. Then we have got the salutation. Half mark for salutation. Subject of course I have mentioned here, there is no mark mentioned, but you have to write a subject. What is the appropriate subject? What you will get, please put it there. Then the content. What exactly needed, please make sure only that has to be written. This is a formal letter and that formality has to be kept. You are not writing just like how writing to your companions, hi and all those things. No, it is not there. The writing has to be strictly formal. It has to be official. So naturally, the language you are using also should be appropriate to this one. So finally, we end with yours faithfully, Simi Singh. Whoever it is, since it is a formal letter, you have to use the complete name there. Your full name has to be used there. So from address we have got, then date, to address, salutation, subject, content, subscription and your name. This many things has to be kept in mind while you are writing a formal letter. And make sure in the content only what it is needed, perfectly what is needed, only that one has to be written. We need not write too many things there. So you know how the marking scheme for the letters. So naturally, strictly follow those things. Format of informal letters. Same thing we have got here. From address, then we have got the date. From date, and we don't have to address here. We directly move on to the salutation and we will move the content. So half mark difference you will be noticing since there is no to address there. So from address we have got the date we put, then directly we give the salutation whoever you are going to address. So that is we set a house number and Tinagar, Chandrawan, Gorakhpur, pin code, then 4th May 2020, dear Ruby. So this is salutation. So this is same as in the formal letter what we saw, but till here it's okay. Then directly we move on to the contents. And here we don't write the subject, unlike the formal letters. Here we don't have a subject. It is informal. Then yours affection mainly Tobino. So this here if you notice you will see there is only one name is written, only the first name is mentioned. So since it is a non-person you are writing, we don't write the titles here. Only the name, the first name is used here, and you will get 1 mark for that. But if either of these is wrong, then you will lose 1 mark. So this carry half mark, this carry half mark. But if any one is wrong, then both the marks will be lost. So otherwise, content you will get 2.5 mark, and here 1 mark. This is all about letter. So that is all about for your writing skill. So far what we said about what is called formal letter and informal letter. Then we spoke about notice and email. So what are the essentials of all those things? What are the type of languages has to be used there? All those things we said. I hope that it is clear, and I also know that it is already known to you. Please make sure you write down all what was given here. In your fair copy it has to be written, it has to be learned. So this has to be learned as it is what is taught here. So please make sure that the typical page has to be taken. All what is written here, it has to be learned as it is. Write it in your copy, learn by heart. Thank you. Have a nice day.